If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns received some bad news on Monday that will reverberate through their locker room and fan base for weeks to come. Rookie linebacker Carson Schweissinger, who has quickly emerged as one of the defensive anchors for the team, has been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. ESPN confirmed the injury after tests, leaving Browns fans to worry about how long their defensive dynamo will be sidelined. Schweissinger, who has been nothing short of a revelation this season, leads the team with 64 tackles and has started all 8 games for Cleveland. His absence comes at a particularly rough time, as the Browns are struggling to find consistency both offensively and defensively, and every key player on the field counts. The timing of the injury is especially unfortunate because Schweissinger had just recorded his first career interception in the previous game, a bright spot in an otherwise difficult matchup against the New England Patriots, a game that ended in a 32-13 loss. The injury itself happened midway through the fourth quarter, a moment that went largely unnoticed until post-game reviews. Teammate Isaiah McGuire accidentally rolled into Schweissinger's leg, sending the rookie linebacker limping off the field in obvious discomfort. By the time he reached the sidelines, he was already wearing a protective boot on his right leg, signaling the severity of the situation. High ankle sprains are notoriously slow to heal, often requiring 4 or more weeks of rest and rehabilitation before a player can safely return to full contact. For the Browns, this spells trouble. Schweissinger isn't just a tackler. He's an all-around playmaker who has added a sack, 3 quarterback hits, and 4 tackles for loss to his stat sheet this season. Losing that kind of production in the middle of the field can alter game plans and put extra pressure on a defense already struggling to hold up against high-powered offenses. Cleveland drafted Schweissinger with the first pick of the second round out of UCLA, and from the moment he stepped onto the field, he has shown the instincts and work ethic that justify that investment. His ability to read plays, his relentless pursuit of the ball, and his knack for making game-changing tackles have made him an indispensable part of the Browns' defense. And now, with him sidelined, defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz will have to shuffle his linebacker core and hope that backups can step up without creating noticeable gaps in coverage. It's a challenge, but one the Browns have faced before, even if this one stings a little more given Schweissinger's emergence as a cornerstone in his rookie season. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely to see how the defense adapts and whether Cleveland can continue to compete in the AFC North with this key piece missing. On the other side of the spectrum, the Browns' quarterback situation has continued to make headlines, and not for positive reasons. Veteran Joe Flacco, who was traded after a 1-3 start to the season, had moments where he showed flashes of his old self, proving that experience still matters in the NFL. But the reality is that Cleveland's current quarterback room is a mess, leaving fans and analysts alike scratching their heads. Rookie Dillon Gabriel has taken the reins, but has struggled to deliver consistent results, holding a 1-2 record as he navigates the steep learning curve of starting in the league. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the younger talent, has remained mostly on the bench, adding to the perception of instability and lack of direction. It's a far cry from the days when Baker Mayfield commanded the offense with confidence and poise. Speaking of Mayfield, the former Browns quarterback remains a hot topic in conversations about the team, not just because of what he accomplished in Cleveland, but also because of how starkly his career trajectory contrasts with the team's current struggles. Now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mayfield has been thriving, leading a 6-2 team and becoming a staple in MVP discussions week after week. There's an almost poetic irony in watching him flourish elsewhere, while Cleveland continues to wrestle with inconsistency at the most important position on the field. Mayfield's success serves as both a reminder of what the Browns once had and a benchmark of what they might aspire to regain. In a recent interview with NFL Network's Kyle Brandt, Mayfield reflected on his time in Cleveland, revealing that despite his departure, he still keeps tabs on the franchise. When shown old photos, including the infamous third mustache he sported during a game day back in 2019, Mayfield laughed and admitted that the antics were perhaps a bit much for the situation. The memory of that season, which included a stretch of losses and frustration for the fans, is softened now by the distance of time and the perspective gained from success elsewhere. What comes through, however, is his enduring connection to the city and the teammates who played significant roles in his early career. It's tough not to pay attention to it just because there are still people there that are genuine friends, he said, underscoring the depth of those bonds and his ongoing respect for the organization that gave him his start. While Cleveland fans might feel a pang of envy seeing Mayfield's current achievements, there's also a measure of admiration in how he handles the situation. Despite the frustration of watching his former team struggle with quarterback instability, he maintains a balanced view, focusing on his priorities in Tampa while occasionally checking in on old friends. It's a mature perspective and one that highlights the human side of professional sports, where relationships and loyalty often matter as much as statistics and victories. Mayfield's remarks reveal a man who has grown into his role, both as a player and as a figure in the league, and who recognizes the importance of perspective in managing both personal and professional challenges. Back in Cleveland, however, the challenges are immediate and concrete. The team's defensive unit will have to compensate for Schwiesinger's absence, while the quarterback situation continues to be a headache for coaches, players, and fans alike. Deshaun Watson's massive, fully guaranteed contract, combined with his time on the sidelines, has left the Browns in a difficult position financially and strategically, further complicating the development of the current roster. Rookie lineups, adjustments to the coaching staff, and the need to maintain competitiveness in a physically demanding division like the AFC North all combine to create a high-pressure environment where every misstep is magnified. The injury to Schwiesinger, therefore, isn't just a minor setback. It's a significant disruption to the team's plans for the season and could have ripple effects that extend beyond the immediate weeks of recovery. Despite these challenges, the narrative of the Browns is far from over. The team has demonstrated resilience in the past, and there are always opportunities for unexpected heroes to emerge when a star player goes down. Schwiesinger's injury, while unfortunate, may create space for other linebackers to step into the spotlight and prove their mettle, potentially unearthing future stars in the process. Meanwhile, the quarterback situation, though messy, continues to offer lessons in evaluation, strategy, and patience for the front office and coaching staff. For fans, it's a roller coaster ride of hope and frustration, punctuated by moments of brilliance like Schwiesinger's interception and flashes of promise from rookies like Gabriel and Sanders. It's the kind of drama that keeps followers glued to their screens, analyzing every snap, every decision, and every move in an effort to piece together a narrative that makes sense in a season often defined by unpredictability. And so, as the Browns move forward, the storyline is clear: navigate injuries, manage a quarterback carousel, and find a way to compete in one of the league's toughest divisions. Carson Schwiesinger's high ankle sprain is a sobering reminder of how fragile momentum can be in the NFL, but it also represents an opportunity for the team to test its depth and resilience. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield's ongoing success elsewhere serves as both inspiration and a subtle cautionary tale about what the franchise could aspire to if it manages to stabilize key positions and foster talent effectively. The season is far from over, and in Cleveland, hope and frustration exist side by side, creating a narrative rich with tension, emotion, and drama. Every game, every play, and every moment counts now, and the Browns must navigate these choppy waters with focus, determination, and a little bit of luck if they hope to emerge as contenders despite the obstacles in front of them. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The world of the NFL is in shock tonight as whispers that were barely audible in locker rooms and sports bars across the country have erupted into what could be one of the most controversial moments in recent football history. Rumors have been swirling for weeks, but now they've reached a crescendo that has every fan, analyst, and commentator talking. The NFL's governing committee has reportedly decided to annul the recent matchup between the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. Sources close to the league, speaking under the condition of anonymity, have suggested that this decision comes on the heels of serious allegations that could fundamentally shake the credibility of one of America's most beloved sports. The implications are staggering, as the game in question was not just any mid-season clash, but a fixture that fans across the nation had been eagerly anticipating. The Patriots and Browns, two teams with deeply loyal fan bases and a history of high-stakes performances, now find themselves at the epicenter of a storm of speculation, and the NFL's announcement, while official in its tone, leaves more questions than answers. Initial reports indicate that the committee, after reviewing preliminary findings, has determined that the integrity of the game was potentially compromised. The allegations, still vague in the public domain, are said to involve irregularities that extend beyond standard violations or minor infractions. While the NFL has been known to levy fines, suspend players, and even strip draft picks in the past, the suggestion that a game's outcome could be completely nullified is virtually unprecedented. Industry insiders have been quick to note that such a measure would signal a zero-tolerance approach from the league, but also open a Pandora's box of controversy, legal challenges, and fan outrage. In conversations behind closed doors, executives reportedly debated the ramifications extensively, weighing the potential fallout against the need to maintain public confidence. The decision to annul the game, if confirmed, would not just affect the standings. It would ripple through contract negotiations, playoff seedings, and the broader narrative of the season, creating a sense of instability that fans and teams alike are unaccustomed to facing. The reactions have been immediate and intense. On social media, hashtags referencing the Patriots, Browns, and the annulled game are trending globally. Fans are divided, with some expressing disbelief that an entire match could be erased from the official record, while others speculate about the severity of the allegations that prompted such a drastic measure. Sports talk radio has exploded with commentary, with analysts debating everything from player conduct and officiating decisions to potential behind-the-scenes pressure that may have influenced the league's choice. There is a palpable tension in every report, as pundits weigh what this could mean for the integrity of the NFL itself. The murmurs suggest that the decision may have involved confidential evidence, possibly whistleblowers or internal communications that cast doubt on how the game was conducted, but details remain shrouded in secrecy. The mere notion that fans could watch a game with a sense of excitement, only to later learn that it never officially happened, challenges everything the sport represents. Insider sources hint at a variety of scenarios, each more sensational than the last. One line of speculation involves possible tampering with equipment, while another whispers about alleged coordination that could have influenced key moments on the field. While none of these claims have been substantiated publicly, the NFL's reputation for swift and sometimes opaque investigations lends weight to even the faintest hint of impropriety. In this environment, rumors alone can drive headlines, and the narrative surrounding the Patriots-Browns matchup has become a fertile ground for conjecture. Some analysts point out that the timing of the committee's decision suggests months of internal deliberation, with investigators combing through video footage, player communications, and perhaps even personal testimonies to arrive at a verdict that will satisfy, or at least appease, a skeptical public. The league's statement, careful to maintain authority without revealing specifics, has only fueled speculation, leaving the sports community in a state of feverish anticipation. The players themselves have entered the fray, with conflicting reports emerging from both camps. Patriots stars are reportedly bewildered by the sudden decision, with some questioning the legitimacy of the allegations and others expressing frustration over the disruption to the team's momentum. On the Browns' side, voices range from indignation to cautious acceptance, as players and coaching staff attempt to navigate the uncertainty of a season suddenly complicated by administrative intervention. Sources close to the locker rooms describe a mix of tension and disbelief, with team meetings now focused as much on legal advice and public relations strategy as on practice and gameplay. The psychological impact, observers note, cannot be overstated. Athletes conditioned to operate on routine and structure are now confronted with an existential challenge to the legitimacy of their own accomplishments on the field, and the fallout may reverberate long after the current headlines fade. Media outlets have jumped into investigative mode, piecing together fragmented reports, leaks, and anonymous tips to construct a coherent picture of what could be a landmark decision in NFL history. Veteran sports journalists suggest that the annulment, if it holds, would set a precedent for future conduct and investigations, potentially reshaping the league's approach to fairness, accountability, and transparency. The rumor mill is working overtime, with talk of potential appeals, legal battles, and even fan-led campaigns demanding clarity and justification. In some quarters, the situation is being compared to historic scandals in other major sports leagues, where the tension between competitive integrity and public perception has resulted in dramatic shifts in governance. Yet the NFL, with its vast resources, global audience, and deeply entrenched culture, faces a unique challenge, balancing swift action with careful messaging in a way that maintains both credibility and fan engagement. Behind the scenes, industry insiders hint at complex negotiations, meetings that stretched late into the night, and a level of secrecy that has fueled almost as much speculation as the allegations themselves. The committee reportedly faced immense pressure from multiple stakeholders, including team owners, sponsors, and broadcast partners, each with a vested interest in both the outcome of the investigation and the perception of the league. Some sources suggest that contingency plans were drafted for every conceivable scenario, from public apology statements to the possibility of a rescheduled game. Yet the ultimate decision, to annul the Patriots-Browns matchup, was described as painful but necessary in certain internal briefings. Even casual fans are beginning to grasp the magnitude of the situation, with forums and discussion boards lighting up with theories, outrage, and incredulity. For many, it's more than just a game. It's a question of trust in a league that, for decades, has been treated as both entertainment and cultural institution. Financial implications are also being whispered about, with sponsors, advertisers, and betting markets all scrambling to reassess their positions. With millions of dollars at stake in TV rights, merchandise, and gambling, the annulment could create cascading consequences that extend far beyond the stadiums. Legal experts, speaking hypothetically, suggest that the decision may be contested in court or arbitration, raising the possibility of a drawn-out saga that keeps the NFL in headlines for weeks or even months. For fans, the story has taken on almost mythic proportions as the familiar rhythms of a football season collide with the drama of unprecedented league action. Every touchdown, every controversial call, and every post-game interview from this matchup is now subject to second-guessing, replay, and reinterpretation, as if the past itself is under review. And yet, amidst the chaos, one thing is clear. The Patriots-Browns annulment has ignited a firestorm of conversation that no one can ignore. From casual viewers to hardcore statisticians, from former players to armchair commentators, everyone is now a part of the unfolding narrative, contributing to the buzz, rumors, and speculation that swirl like leaves in a storm. The NFL, for its part, has positioned itself as the arbiter of integrity, but in doing so has invited scrutiny, debate, and the inevitable questions that accompany any decision of this magnitude. Whether the allegations will be fully substantiated, whether the game will be replayed, or whether fans will simply have to accept a blank spot in the record books, remains to be seen. For now, the Patriots, the Browns, and the league itself stand at the center of a story that feels equal parts scandal, intrigue, and cautionary tale. A story that, in true sports fashion, is as unpredictable as the game itself. As the evening turns into night and the sports world digests the news, analysts predict that the coming days will be filled with further leaks, interviews, and perhaps even dramatic twists that no one currently sees coming. The annulled Patriots-Browns game has become more than just a headline. It's a narrative that questions the very foundations of competition, fairness, and accountability in professional sports. Rumors continue to swirl, whispers grow louder, and one thing is certain. The NFL landscape will never look the same again, and every fan, player, and commentator will be watching closely for the next shocking development in a story that has already captured the imagination of the nation. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!